Dr. Amora stood in the pristine hallway of her renowned fertility clinic in Lagos, flipping through patient files. The clinic buzzed with activity, nurses darting in and out of rooms, and patients seated in the waiting area. It was a routine day, or so she thought. In the lab, a technician hurriedly labeled vials, distracted by the growing queue of tasks. 2 vials sat side by side, one labeled Chief Obinna and the other unmarked. The technician, under pressure, mistakenly switched the labels. Meanwhile, Amina, a modest young woman from a rural village, sat nervously in the consultation room. She had come for a routine health checkup, encouraged by her mother, who worried about her frequent fainting spells. Little did Amina know that this visit would change her life forever. Dr. Amora, unaware of the mix-up, proceeded with the routine procedures, sealing the fateful mistake that would unravel in the coming weeks. Weeks later, Amina sat on her bed, clutching her stomach. She had been feeling unusually nauseous and fatigued. Her mother, Mama Fatima, urged her to return to the clinic. Reluctantly, Amina agreed. At the clinic, Dr. Amora reviewed Amina's test results, her expression turning grim. "Amina, you're pregnant," she said, her voice low but firm. Amina's eyes widened in shock. "That's impossible. I've never been with anyone," she stammered. Dr. Amora's heart sank as she realized the gravity of the situation. She promised Amina she would investigate the matter thoroughly. As Amina left the clinic, her mind raced with confusion and fear. How could this happen? And what would her family say? Unbeknownst to her, the answer lay in a mix-up that involved one of Lagos's most powerful men. In a towering skyscraper overlooking the Lagos skyline, Chief Obinna paced his office. A man of influence and wealth, he prided himself on his legacy. His lawyer, Mr. Chaik, entered with a folder. "Chief, the clinic confirmed your sperm sample was successfully stored," he said. Obinna nodded, satisfied. Ensuring his lineage was a priority, especially with his vast empire to pass down. But his satisfaction was short-lived. Days later, he received a call from Dr. Amora, requesting an urgent meeting. At the clinic, Dr. Amora struggled to explain the mix-up. "Chief, there's been a mistake," she began. Obinna's face darkened as she detailed the incident. "Are you saying my sperm was used in someone else's procedure?" he thundered. Dr. Amora nodded, her hands trembling. Obinna's mind raced. Who was this woman? And what did this mean for his carefully curated legacy? Back in her village, Amina faced the wrath of whispers and judgmental stares. News of her pregnancy spread quickly, and the villagers were relentless with their speculations. "Who is the father?" they whispered. Such shame for her family. Mama Fatima confronted Amina one evening. "My daughter, tell me the truth. Who is responsible for this?" Tears streamed down Amina's face as she recounted her visit to the clinic. "Mama, I swear, I don't know how this happened," she said. Mama Fatima, though confused, believed her daughter. But the damage was done. Amina's father, Baba Usman, remained silent, his disappointment evident. As Amina grappled with her predicament, Dr. Amora's call changed everything. "Amina, I need you to come to Lagos immediately. We found the father of your child." The meeting at the clinic was tense. Amina, dressed in her simple attire, looked out of place in the luxurious clinic. Chief Obinna entered, his presence commanding. He glanced at Amina, his expression unreadable. Dr. Amora introduced them, her voice trembling. "Chief Obinna, this is Amina, the mother of your child." Obinna's eyes narrowed. "This must be a joke," he said, his voice cold. Amina, overwhelmed, stood silently. "I don't know what kind of scheme this is, but I will not be manipulated," Obinna continued. Amina found her voice. "I didn't ask for this either," she said, her tone firm despite her nerves. The room fell silent as the weight of the situation settled on them. This was only the beginning of a battle neither had anticipated. Chief Obinna left the clinic in a fury, his mind racing with disbelief and indignation. The audacity of such a mistake. Back at his mansion, he called his trusted lawyer, Mr. Chaik. "I want this handled immediately," Obinna barked, pacing his lavish study. "Find out everything about this Amina and her family. I need to know what kind of people we're dealing with." Meanwhile, Amina returned to her modest guest house in Lagos, overwhelmed by the encounter. She couldn't shake the image of Chief Obinna's piercing gaze and the coldness in his voice. Her heart ached as she thought about the life growing inside her. What would this child's future look like, caught between two worlds so vastly different? The following week, Amina received a summons. Chief Obinna had filed for custody of the unborn child, claiming his right as the biological father. Amina was devastated. "Mama, I don't even know how to fight this," she cried over the phone. Mama Fatima, back in the village, urged her to stay strong. "We'll get through this together, my daughter." At the court hearing, Obinna's legal team presented a formidable case. Amina's lawyer, a young and passionate advocate named Ifini, fought back fiercely. "Your Honor, my client is a victim of gross negligence. She cannot be punished for circumstances beyond her control," Ifini argued. The judge, visibly torn, postponed the decision, leaving both parties in limbo. As the legal battle dragged on, Amina found solace in her faith and her small circle of friends in Lagos. She began attending a support group for single mothers, where she met women with stories of resilience and courage. Their strength inspired her to fight for her child's future. Chief Obinna, on the other hand, struggled with his own demons. Late at night, he would sit in his study, staring at the ultrasound image Dr. Amora had provided. Despite his anger and pride, he couldn't ignore the fact that this child was a part of him. "What kind of father will I be?" he wondered aloud, his voice tinged with vulnerability. Back in Amina's village, news of the legal battle spread like wildfire. Some villagers sympathized with her, while others questioned her story. "How can a virgin become pregnant?" they whispered. Baba Usman, though still disappointed, began to stand up for his daughter. "She is my blood, and I will not let anyone tarnish her name," he declared at a village meeting. Mama Fatima, ever the peacemaker, decided to visit Lagos to support Amina. When she arrived, she was shocked by the city's hustle and bustle but remained focused on her mission, to ensure her daughter didn't face this storm alone. Dr. Amora, racked with guilt over the mix-up, decided to take matters into her own hands. She reached out to both Amina and Chief Obinna, hoping to mediate. "This situation is my fault," she admitted during a tense meeting. "But we must think about the child's well-being." Obinna scoffed. "You think a few words can fix this?" he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Amina, however, saw sincerity in Dr. Amora's eyes. "Maybe we can find a way to work together," she suggested cautiously. The room fell silent, the possibility of a truce hanging in the air like a fragile thread. As the case gained public attention, the media descended on both Amina and Obinna. Tabloids printed sensational headlines: "Billionaire's baby drama" and "Virgin mother or scammer." Amina, unused to such scrutiny, found herself overwhelmed by reporters outside her guest house. Obinna, though accustomed to the limelight, grew frustrated by the intrusion into his private life. In an uncharacteristic move, Obinna held a press conference. "This is a personal matter," he stated firmly. "I ask the media to respect our privacy." Amina, watching the broadcast from her small room, felt a flicker of gratitude. Perhaps there was more to this man than his intimidating exterior. Despite their differences, Amina and Obinna began to communicate more directly, facilitated by Dr. Amora's mediation efforts. During one meeting, Obinna asked Amina about her dreams. "I wanted to be a teacher," she admitted shyly, "but life had other plans." Obinna, intrigued by her resilience, shared his own struggles. "People see the wealth, but they don't see the sacrifices," he said. For the first time, they saw each other as individuals rather than adversaries. Though far from friends, a foundation of mutual respect began to form. The courtroom was packed as the custody case resumed. Amina sat quietly, her hands trembling as her lawyer, Ifini, presented their case. "Your Honor, My client is a victim of an error she did not cause. She only wishes to protect her unborn child from being taken away from her. Chief Obinna's legal team countered, emphasizing his rights as the biological father. Your Honor, my client has the resources to provide this child with a life of unparalleled opportunity and privilege, Mr. Chaik argued. The judge, visibly torn, decided to appoint a mediator to assess the situation outside the courtroom, giving both parties a chance to prove their intentions. The mediator, a calm and composed woman named Mrs. Ease, visited Amina's modest guest house first. She observed Amina's simple yet nurturing environment, noting her determination to raise her child with love and values. Amina spoke earnestly about her fears and hopes for the baby, her sincerity leaving a lasting impression. When Mrs. Ease visited Chief Obinna's mansion, she was struck by the grandeur and opulence. Obinna spoke of his desire to secure his legacy and provide his child with the best opportunities. However, Mrs. Ease also noticed the loneliness that lingered behind his confident facade. Her report would weigh heavily in the judge's final decision. As the case gained traction, Amina's story touched the hearts of many. Women's rights groups rallied behind her, offering legal and emotional support. Amina found strength in their solidarity, feeling less alone in her fight. Mama Fatima, ever her pillar of strength, encouraged her to remain steadfast. Meanwhile, Obinna began to receive criticism for his aggressive approach. "Do you think this is just about winning?" his sister, Aurora, asked during a family dinner. "That child deserves more than just wealth. They need love too." Obinna was taken aback but couldn't shake her words. One afternoon, while visiting a park to clear her mind, Amina ran into Obinna. He was there to escape the chaos of the media. Surprised by the coincidence, they ended up sitting on a bench together. The conversation started awkwardly but soon turned personal. "I didn't expect my life to take this turn," Amina admitted, gazing at the children playing nearby. Obinna sighed. "Neither did I. But maybe this is fate's way of teaching us something." For the first time, they shared a genuine moment of connection, free from the courtroom's tension. Dr. Amora invited both Amina and Obinna to the clinic for a routine ultrasound. As the image of the baby appeared on the screen, a wave of emotion washed over them. Amina's eyes filled with tears as she heard the baby's heartbeat. Obinna, usually stoic, felt a lump in his throat. "This is our child," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Amina glanced at him, surprised by the vulnerability in his voice. For a brief moment, they were united by the miracle of life, the legal battle momentarily forgotten. After weeks of deliberation, the judge called both parties to her chambers. "This case is unique," she began. "It's clear that both of you care deeply for this child. I propose shared custody until the child is born, after which a final decision will be made based on what's best for the baby." Amina and Obinna exchanged uncertain glances. The arrangement meant they would have to navigate this journey together, a prospect neither had fully considered. The judge's proposal marked a turning point, forcing them to confront their differences and find common ground. As they spent more time together, Amina and Obinna's contrasting worlds became evident. Amina's humble upbringing emphasized community and simplicity, while Obinna's world revolved around power and luxury. Their conversations often led to disagreements, but they also began to learn from each other. "You think money solves everything," Amina said during one heated exchange. "And you think life is a fairy tale," Obinna retorted. Despite their clashes, they couldn't deny the growing respect they had for each other's perspectives. To bridge their differences, Mama Fatima suggested a joint baby shower. The event brought together people from both their worlds. Villagers mingled with city elites, and for one evening, the lines that divided them blurred. Obinna, seeing Amina surrounded by her loved ones, began to understand the depth of her strength. Amina, watching Obinna interact with the children at the party, caught a glimpse of the man behind the billionaire facade. The evening ended with a sense of hope, a rare moment of harmony in their turbulent journey. The shared custody arrangement forced Amina and Obinna to spend more time together. Obinna arranged for Amina to visit his mansion twice a week so they could discuss plans for the baby. Initially, the meetings were tense, with Amina feeling out of place in the grand, marble-floored estate. One afternoon, as Amina admired the art pieces adorning the walls, Obinna noticed her curiosity. "That's a Ben-in-one original," he said, breaking the silence. "It's beautiful," Amina replied, her voice soft. Their conversations gradually grew warmer, revealing glimpses of their shared humanity beneath the layers of tension. To balance their cultural differences, Amina invited Obinna to her village for a weekend. Obinna hesitated but eventually agreed, curious about her world. The visit was a stark contrast to his luxurious lifestyle. He shared a simple meal with Amina's family and participated in local traditions. During a moonlit evening, Amina's father shared wisdom about family and legacy. "Wealth can build walls, but love builds bridges," he said, his words resonating with Obinna. The visit left a lasting impression, softening his rigid perspective. The media frenzy surrounding their story escalated, with headlines speculating about their relationship. Paparazzi followed their every move, causing tension. Amina, unaccustomed to the spotlight, struggled with the intrusion. "I never wanted this attention," she confided to Obinna during a heated discussion. Obinna, accustomed to media scrutiny, offered her advice. "Ignore the noise. Focus on what matters, our child." For the first time, Amina felt a sense of protection from him, their partnership slowly taking shape. One night, Amina experienced sharp pains and was rushed to the hospital. Obinna arrived shortly after, his face etched with worry. Dr. Amora reassured them that the baby was fine but advised Amina to avoid stress. The scare brought them closer, with Obinna vowing to support her more actively. "Your health and the baby's well-being come first," he said, his voice firm. Amina, touched by his concern, began to see a different side of him, a man capable of genuine care. To lighten the mood, Obinna suggested a baby shopping trip. Amina reluctantly agreed, overwhelmed by the upscale baby stores he took her to. When she hesitated over a pricey crib, Obinna noticed her discomfort. "Let's find something simpler," he said, leading her to a quaint local shop. They spent hours picking out baby items, sharing laughter and stories. The day ended with a newfound camaraderie, their bond strengthening with each passing moment. Obinna's sister, Aurora, played a pivotal role in bridging the gap between him and Amina. She invited Amina to lunch, using the opportunity to share stories about Obinna's childhood. "He wasn't always this serious," Aurora said, making Amina laugh. Aurora's warmth and openness eased Amina's fears, giving her a glimpse of the family she might become a part of. Aurora, in turn, encouraged Obinna to let down his guard and embrace the journey with Amina. During one of their meetings, Amina felt the baby kick for the first time. She gasped, placing a hand on her belly. "Did you feel that?" she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Obinna hesitated before placing his hand beside hers, feeling the tiny movement. For a moment, they were united in awe. "It's incredible," Obinna whispered, his voice filled with emotion. The experience deepened their connection, reminding them of the life they were bringing into the world. Mama Fatima suggested they attend the annual Festival of Unity in Amina's village. The event celebrated community and reconciliation, themes that resonated with their journey. Amina and Obinna participated in traditional dances and rituals, their laughter echoing through the night. The festival became a turning point, symbolizing their growing partnership. As they watched the fireworks light up the sky, Amina whispered, "Maybe we're not so different after all." Obinna nodded, his heart swelling with a mix of hope and gratitude. As the due date approached, Amina and Obinna began preparing a nursery. Their differing tastes led to spirited debates. Amina preferred a cozy, earthy theme, while Obinna leaned towards sleek, modern designs. After much back and forth, they compromised on a blend of both styles, creating a space that reflected their unique journey. The process taught them the value of collaboration, a lesson they knew would serve them well as co-parents. During a quiet evening, Amina and Obinna shared their hopes for the baby's future. "I want them to grow up with love and values," Amina said, her voice steady. Obinna nodded, adding, "and with the freedom to choose their own path." Their shared vision for the child brought them closer, their relationship evolving into a partnership built on mutual respect and understanding. The journey had been tumultuous, but it was shaping them into better versions of themselves. As the due date loomed closer, Amina received an unexpected visitor, her estranged childhood friend, Sadiq, who had returned from studying abroad. Sadiq, now a doctor, was shocked to learn of Amina's pregnancy. He offered his unwavering support, which made Obinna uneasy. During one of their shared custody meetings, Obinna noticed Sadiq's growing closeness to Amina. "Who is he?" Obinna asked, his voice laced with suspicion. Amina's calm reply, "A friend," did little to ease his discomfort. For the first time, Obinna felt a pang of jealousy, a feeling he couldn't quite place. One evening, during a heartfelt conversation, Amina confided in Obinna about her dreams of becoming a teacher. "I've always wanted to give back to my community," she said, her eyes shining with passion. Obinna, moved by her dedication, offered to fund her education after the baby's birth. "You don't have to do that," Amina protested, but Obinna insisted. "It's the least I can do. You're giving me a child, Amina." Their exchange deepened their understanding of each other, fostering a sense of partnership that felt increasingly natural. Obinna invited Amina to a high-profile charity gala, hoping to introduce her to his world. Amina, dressed in a simple but elegant gown, felt out of place among the wealthy elite. However, her grace and humility won over many attendees. During the evening, Obinna defended Amina against a condescending remark from a rival business associate. "She's the mother of my child and deserves respect," he said firmly. Amina, touched by his words, began to see him in a new light. Amina and Obinna attended their first ultrasound appointment together. As the doctor pointed out the baby's tiny hands and feet, Obinna's usually stoic expression softened. "That's our child," he whispered, his voice filled with wonder. The moment was a turning point for both of them, solidifying their commitment to co-parenting. Amina saw a vulnerable side of Obinna, one that made her believe they could navigate this journey together. Amina's family organized a small celebration to honor her pregnancy. Obinna attended, bringing gifts and participating in the festivities. He struggled with the unfamiliar customs but made an effort, earning the admiration of Amina's relatives. During the celebration, Amina's mother pulled Obinna aside. "Take care of her," she said, her voice firm but kind. Obinna nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The evening strengthened his resolve to be a supportive partner and father. Obinna discovered that one of his closest business associates had leaked details of Amina's pregnancy to the press. Furious, he confronted the culprit and severed ties. The betrayal shook him, but it also deepened his determination to protect Amina and their child. When Amina learned of the incident, she thanked Obinna for standing by her. "You didn't have to do that," she said, her voice trembling. "I did it because I care," he replied, his eyes meeting hers. The moment marked a significant shift in their relationship. Aurora organized a lavish baby shower for Amina, blending traditional and modern elements. Amina was overwhelmed by the love and support from Obinna's family and friends. Even Sadiq attended, his presence creating subtle tension. During the event, Obinna gave a heartfelt speech. "This journey has been unexpected, but it's taught me the importance of family," he said, his voice steady. Amina, moved to tears, realized how far they had come. Amina went into labor late one night. Obinna rushed to the hospital, his heart pounding with anxiety. Hours later, their baby, a healthy girl, was born. Amina named her Chiamaka, meaning God is beautiful. Holding Chiamaka for the first time, Obinna was overcome with emotion. "She's perfect," he whispered. Amina smiled, her exhaustion giving way to pure joy. In that moment, they felt like a family. The weeks following Chiamaka's birth were challenging but rewarding. Amina and Obinna navigated sleepless nights and diaper changes, learning to rely on each other. Their bond deepened as they shared the joys and struggles of parenthood. One evening, as they watched Chiamaka sleep, Obinna turned to Amina. "Thank you for trusting me," he said. Amina nodded, her heart full. They had come a long way, and their journey was just beginning. Months later, Amina graduated from her teaching program, with Obinna and Chiamaka cheering her on. The event symbolized a new chapter for their unconventional family. Obinna, now more grounded, found fulfillment in his role as a father and partner. As they celebrated together, Amina reflected on their journey. "Life has a funny way of surprising us," she said, smiling at Obinna. He nodded, his eyes filled with gratitude. Their story was one of resilience, growth, and the power of unexpected love. In the end, it wasn't wealth or power that triumphed, but love, respect, and understanding. Sometimes, the most unexpected journeys lead to the most profound destinations. Did this story captivate you? What would you do if fate turned your world upside down? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing African tales.